You can support this show at patreon.com/ASAPodcasting. Welcome to a Skyrim Addict podcast, where I will discuss my adventures and misadventures through Skyrim. Join me. Add your stories, add your tales. Let's get into this thing. Welcome. Skyrim Addict podcast 159 with me and my Khajiit sitting here on my lap. So I am joined today by Ray.
Afternoon.
Wait, afternoon? Where are you at?
He's retired. It's always afternoon now, man.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, really. What the hell? What does time even
is it
mean?
Later? I can't remember. I haven't been up that long, so it just seemed like afternoon.
What does time even mean?
That's it. I'm out of here.
Steve is with us.
Afternoon, everybody.
Afternoon. We're going with afternoon. Nobody knows what time it is anyway when we're recording this, and Victor's with us.
Good evening, everybody.
Best is we're all in the same time zone, and one of the rare occasions when everybody on the show is in the same time zone, and somehow we're not. Well, Ray is.
But we've all agreed on the wrong time, mostly.
That's,
I mean, democratically, 3 out of 4, we've agreed it's on
This
the
is
time zone
true.
we're in. So
It's true. Ray is done with time. He has no need for time anymore.
No.
Now
It's
time
just
is
like
on
your
my side.
opinion, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. So we
Yeah.
had.
Speaking, I've been informed now that should I decide that I want to retire, I will not be allowed to. So
Oh, there you go.
yeah. Great, huh?
That's a sad
That's a little-
development.
It's a little
Yeah.
too much job security.
Yeah, a little. That's a tad. Yeah.
You're not going anywhere. Well, we had a super eventful E3 where they announced Elder Scrolls 6.
Well,
Yeah, I'm
sort
really
of.
looking
Wasn't
forward to it. Yeah.
there like 5 minutes?
Oh, was there? You know,
Something like that. I mean, I read
Yeah.
an article about it, that it was a very light touch on anything sort of ES related, and mostly they went with Doom and that kind of thing.
Yeah. The majority of any Elder Scrolls stuff was Blades and ESO. And obviously there was Doom, there was some other stuff. There was Fallout 76 stuff. There was couple new. There was some new mobile game that I don't remember the name of that people were excited about in the place.
The kid cartoon one.
Yes, that one. I don't know the name of it. Sorry. I'm a bad reporter here for E3 Bethesda part of it.
Well,
Yeah,
I guess the big thing. Sorry, go Victor.
No, I was just gonna say I didn't watch any of it, so I'm pretty interested in what everybody has to say about what they announced. Go ahead.
Just gonna say, I think the big thing about 6. Well, there's 2 big things. We should totally shout out everyone's favorite Skyrim grandma for actually being a voice actor.
Oh
in
yeah.
ES6.
She's in,
I've seen the video footage of her talking to the Todd and sort of doing her voiceover work. So I think that's fantastic. She totally deserves to be immortalized. She's such an amazing part of the community, right? But I guess the second big thing was that they know they need to plan for this to be like a 10-year experience.
Yes. Yeah.
That I thought was quite encouraging, because were we going to get into some kind of environment where it's going to be like sort of very DLC heavy and blah 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 and sort of like strung out over time, whereas it's like, no, we're going to give you a similar experience to Skyrim in the sense that like all of our other games, it'll be sandboxy, there'll be lots of exploration, there'll be lots of replayability and stuff, because I didn't think they would turn away from their model because it's done so well. But
exactly.
We're in a world of like what Victor likes to call like the character playing experience, right? Like you play The Witcher, you play the guy in Dishonored or whatever, and there's not a lot of freedom. So I was quite encouraged by that, because I mean, let's be honest, I'm probably going to play Elder Scrolls 6 for like 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I still haven't played through like half of the locations in Skyrim. or whatever. So I'm looking forward to that. And they made a comment about how like part of that was because, and this is sort of a throw to Victor, but like the mod community has extended the playability of Skyrim. They're aware of that, and they seem to have sort of embraced that. So they know that sort of 6 has to be able to do that. So that at least is encouraging. I can wait a little bit longer for that to come out, if they sort of hold true to that,
I agree. I like that. That's encouraging that there's definitely that look to, we need this to be a long-lasting game, not a game we just sell a bunch of it first and then fades away like everything else generally does, whatever, the latest Assassin's Creed or latest whatever.
And I don't want to play a game with built-in obsolescence. Like, I don't want Elder Scrolls 6 to be an iPhone, right? Like, I don't want you to plan for that to be, 18 months because you got something else you're going to sell me. Like, that's not how RPGs work, man.
Yeah.
Like, I've still got the original Dungeons and Dragons rules, that are totally playable, right? Like, since the 70s. That's my idea about an RPG, pardon me. It should be evergreen,
Yeah.
And I think they're going that direction, which is good as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, for sure. And what was I going to say?
Sorry, bud.
No, I completely lost my train of thought.
Did they talk at all about the engine, the creation kit, or anything like that? Did they make any mentions about that?
No, I don't think there was any details because it seems like even what's the Starfield? Is that the
That's the next. That'll be out next year. I mean, I'm sure they'll announce that as a release for next fall.
I don't know. Or are they going to wait for the new consoles?
Well, I mean, they've been working on it for almost 4 years now.
Yeah.
So it's
That'd still be November 2020.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Isn't the consoles in 2020 also? Or
Yep.
the
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, Xbox is 2020. You're right. Yeah. So
and
that does
Todd
make
Howard
sense,
said as much about ES6 as well, that they want it to be a next. He didn't say it in these words, but that they want it to be a next gen experience,
which makes total sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just, I think if they're talking about, they want it to be a 10-year, product or whatever, that's great. But obviously they're well aware of their incredibly robust community of modders. But how much of that are they going to try to horn in on? That's what I want to know. And that's we're not going to know that for quite some time now. Are they going to try to monetize that some way that's less ham-handed than Creation Club?
Yeah, I think if you go into the next title and Creation Club exists and mods exist, you'll have that beginning part where you have, like, right now the players you have left for Skyrim, by the time the Creation Club came out for Skyrim, the people who were left playing it really had no need for Creation Club or in general. Whereas in the beginning, you're going to have whatever, 10 million people playing it or whatever.
Right.
You are going to have enough of a base there to use a Creation Club in the beginning that aren't going to be people who are going to mod or have modded before or have that much familiarity with Elder Scrolls in general. So they're going to see, like, I don't know, a armor set or a house or whatever it may be, and be like, oh, okay, I can just get this for a few bucks on Microsoft or whatever. And I think they'll have enough access there where they don't have to. And I hope it also allows for long-term, smaller DLCs.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a positive, I think.
Yeah, I think you're in an environment where people are going to accept that too. Like, you got to understand. I mean, we've literally got a generation between the launch of Skyrim and probably the launch of ES6, right? Yeah. So this is an entire group of people that have grown up like on their smartphone, and I get this game for free or whatever. And if I want that feature, it's $2. If I want that in-game currency, it's $3. So like, and I think the reason that maybe Creation Kit stumbled is it was sort of supposed to pair with SE, right?
Yes,
whereas, like, I'm perfectly happy with, I'm not knocking SE, but like, I'm perfectly happy with my like legacy Skyrim, right? Like, it does what I want it to do. I can mod it so it looks nice enough, so on and so forth. So the motivation for me to be like purchasing stuff off the Creation Club is sort of nil. Like, I don't think it's a bad idea, but like, there's no pull in that for me, right? Mm-hmm. But I get a decent deal on ES6 when it comes out, and then I'll put a whole bunch of mods on the equivalent of like my wish list, right? And if they go on sale or they're by someone who was reputable with Skyrim that's gone over to actually sort of like work for the dark side, if you will, I would be willing to support a modder that's transitioned from hobby to, like it'd be a different way of supporting them instead of a Patreon or something. You're buying products from reliable people and that sort of thing. And I think the appeal will be there. Plus, if it comes out on a console, will that be the only way? Like, will they gatekeep mods for console players only through the creation kit? I think it's got a lot of legs. And if they roll it out and they're not too greedy, like if they think long term, like if you're thinking it's a 10-year game, don't gouge me for every piece of DLC because I'm going to give you $500 over that 10 years at least. Yeah, well, if it's in little increments, right?
Yeah, they'll get pilloried if they try to gouge people, and chances are it'll take 6 to 12 months for the creation kit for the new game to even come out.
Exactly.
Fallout 4, it took a while. So within that time, there'll be plenty of time for them to allow modders access through NDAs and everything else.
Yep.
Private access to build their own mods. So yeah, well,
I like the micro DLC idea there too. That seems to be what I feel like you were hinting at, Michael.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be like a giant expansion of the game per se, but also like if I could put the pieces of the puzzle that I want. It's like Lego, right? Well, I want to build one thing and you want to build the other thing. We're starting with the same base, but maybe I'm more interested in like thief type characters. So I buy little DLCs that enhance that. But you are more of a sword and board type or a fighter, or what I mean? Like whether it's character type add-ons, and like it would be interesting if you could sort of purchase an extra perk tree for $1, as a DLC. No, well, whatever. I'm just spitballing, right? But the idea that like I don't have anything against Bruma, but I also had no interest in downloading it. But there are lots of people who, who have a connection with that part of the world or whatever. They thought that expansion was really cool. They loaded it and they loved playing it. So the idea that you sort of had this a la carte DLC option would be neat. I can put the pieces that I want on, you put the pieces you want on. And that'll make our podcast really interesting because we'll all have different experiences.
Yeah, Skyrim already is that. I mean, you can pick and choose your mods for whatever character you want to play, including now this. I mean, you can even play this one of the because all these big quest mods are like micro DLCs, Helgen Reborn, and the latest one, Carved Brink, which is based on Periite. I mean, you can do all. It's so yeah. It's it'll take a long time to get there with the.
But it would be nice if it was standardized. It'd be nice if it was standardized. Like I'm actually kind of arguing in favor of sort of a creation club model here for a second, because then you've got compatibility built in and all this kind of stuff, right? Like, because I mean, really, what we got Dawnguard, we got Hearthfire, pardon me, and we got Dragonborn. So you get Solstheim and Dawnguard Tower, and that's the end of expanding the map, right? Now those are all stable; they all work with the game, blah blah blah. And there are a lot of other good region mods out there, but it would kind of be nice to know that they all had to go through like a vetting process or a compatibility process or whatever, and while I'll probably still mod with whatever version of mod organizer they're using at the time or Vortex or whatever. I kind of like that idea of like a buffet of options that are all sort of vetted, if you will,
And I think that opens it up to people who wouldn't mod at all.
I'm sorry. I just don't. I mean, yes, I think an element of that is fine, but what makes the Skyrim modding community vibrant now is exactly the opposite of that. What you get when you vet mods and DLCs and make everything compatible is essentially you lower everything down towards the lowest common denominator because they all have to comply, and if the reason we have such a vibrant modding community right now is that they don't all have to comply. And yes, you do have to roll up your sleeves and learn how to fucking mod, and so if you...
But you're the exception to the rule, right? We sitting in this table are the exception to the rule.
No, not at all. There's thousands of people out there that
but you're talking thousands versus millions.
Well, sure, but the millions aren't the modders anyway.
No, that's what I'm saying. This gives people like that who are going to be there for, say, the first year and a half of the game.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I think that's where the Creation Club is at its best in the very beginning, say, or
Yeah.
whatever their DLC life is, whatever 2 years, whatever it is.
Yeah,
I think that's where Creation Club really works well in the future, because you have that massive base where you have this huge amount of people who aren't going to mod, but then you have your long-term people who are going to play for 7 years, 8 years, whatever, who are going to try all the different things, who want the real modding world and not the Creation Club.
Yeah.
I think that's where they can both coexist. You know what I mean?
I think they can run parallel tracks,
Yeah,
exactly, like
yeah.
sort of your Steam Workshop type people, which
Yeah.
I was until I met Victor and the scales fell from my eyes, you know. But no, it was simple, right? Like, hey, I want to be able to do this in the game, no problem. And I would search on Steam and I would click and blah blah blah. Well, if that costs me $1 now and it keeps the game supported, great. But they can run parallel tracks. Like if they don't close the door on the Shions of the world and whatever, so that people like Victor or like myself that's become more familiar, like if they allow those two tracks to run, I think, make your money on the kind of Steam Workshop side of things, right? This is where you make your pennies along the way, but leave the door open for people that are a little more serious, a little more interested, more into programming and stuff, and an avenue for the people that really appreciate that to have those experiences. I think if that's the way to win with ES6, I think.
Because that keeps it alive longer, I think. Because you can't, if they close the door, the game dies in 3 years.
Yeah, or less.
It doesn't survive past the DLC life if they close that door. I mean, that's just reality. People aren't still playing Skyrim in the numbers they are if that door is closed and it's just a Creation Club.
Well, they and also they clearly know that they really are the only game design house out there that produces that kind of game.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only one other game that even comes close. Well, two that even come close to Skyrim in terms of mod communities, and those are Minecraft and The Sims.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
The only two that even come close. And so yeah, I'm sure they're well aware of that, and they want to cultivate it as much as possible.
Oh yeah, because vanilla Skyrim,
it keeps all their games vibrant, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But vanilla Skyrim is not a 10-year game.
No.
I mean, vanilla Minecraft is not a 10-year game. Like that's so. I think let's hope they're sharp enough. Like when they say we want it to last 10 years, I'm sure in that article that I read, there was a direct shout out to like the modding community, and like they're well aware of that part. So they want to build it to be modular, modifiable, so on and so forth.
Yeah, and they've got a little experience with the Creation Club, and then the Atom Shop in Fallout 76. Came out along with the game, so they've kind of got that groove. They've got that figured out how to make that work and keep people happy about it. And then leave the big mods to the modders.
Yeah.
How has Atom Shop worked out? That's probably a hint of what we might see, because it would be, it's years newer than Skyrim. So how has that worked out, Ray?
It seems to be working great. I mean, every time you go in the game, you see what just came out of the Atom Shop. I mean, everybody's wearing the latest coat or set of clothing or power armor paint or that type of thing. So it's definitely getting a lot of play.
Yeah. And I think it was definitely valid when Steve was saying about the generation that has grown up with mobile games and microtransactions, and even not even just mobile games, but Fortnite and things like that, where a new season comes out and things like that. Whole generation is used to games that slowly grow over time and that you invest in over time, or pay for over time, whatever you want to call it. Where you add this, add that. There's a whole generation that's used to that. And quite frankly, building a game now costs so much money that they almost have to do that. So like when everybody flipped out about Blade, or not everybody, when a certain segment of the community flipped out about Blades having microtransactions, I'm like, well, it's a mobile game that's free. Like, how do you think they're paying for it?
Yeah.
Like that's the mobile game economy. They couldn't have put Blades out for $10 or whatever, or $7 or whatever they would need, because nobody would buy it, because everybody plays. That's not the economy of mobile games. It's just
no. Your
reality.
choice is your personal information or microtransactions. Probably both.
Yeah, it's actually
Be honest about what's going on here, right?
Yeah. Your choice is pretending they're not getting your personal information and microtransactions, or blatantly getting your.
I think the bigger screeches were more related to a perception of pay to win. And
Yeah,
that's,
I didn't
that's
feel
where
that, though.
No, I know, and I don't think it was necessarily accurate either.
Yeah.
But I haven't played a whole lot of Blades. But that's where the nerd rage really ramps up.
Oh yeah, yeah.
When there's any perception that it's pay to win, and rightfully so.
I think so too. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
So
I think you should be able to pay to win a single player game.
That's true.
I have zero problem with that.
Yeah, if you're
I
not
zero
playing
problem.
anyone else, yeah.
Yeah.
To
Like if I want to download a mod that turns me into Iron Man, like
be
fly around in
for
Skyrim,
efficiency,
just
yeah.
shooting at.
oh yeah,
like,
yeah. No,
what the hell, right? I should be allowed to do that. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So,
yeah.
so I mean, obviously, in a less elaborate or less obvious way. Again, single player game. I'm not really worried about that. You know.
Well, if you use a PC, all you have to do is type in TGM, and you've just become God.
That's too much, though. That I want to like pretend there's still some challenge in there, like if
Plausible
like, although I'll tell you a
deniability.
story. I'll tell you a story though. We're talking about Minecraft, right? So my daughter has played some Minecraft and probably more Skyrim, all in all. But so I've told you before about like Amelia Cat, her Khajiit wizard character, right? So we started playing around 4, and she would get like scared when we go into dungeons. She'd want to like run away from the joggers and whatever. But I'm like, buddy, this is kind of like how you do this, right? So she turned into a crafter for a while. That's fine. She wants to go fish and swim around. She wants to make potions, no problem. I actually did like a random video of her like combining ingredients with her character. I actually learned some stuff from my kid. But the point is, she asks me to turn it on to peaceful mode because we play Minecraft in peaceful. So I thought about that for a second. I turned it off and I toggle the combat AI. And so she can go anywhere in the world now and nobody attacks her, but she can still explore the dungeons and get some loot and
That's
whatever.
cool.
And, and she levels up just through crafting skills and soft skills and stuff. So it's a way to have my kid in my lap and have a good time. And she's having the experience that she wants. So we've not quite gone TGM. Like she can still die if she falls. So it keeps the game a little bit real in that sense. But we sort of, she's essentially in God mode because no one's trying to kill her, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, my favorite console command is kill all. That's probably the one I use the most.
I never remember till after I'm swearing at my computer that that's possible.
That's a problem. I have been actually playing a lot of Minecraft recently, and I've been hopping in the Feeds Wasteland, which was the original place everybody hopped in before Fallout 76. I've been hopping in there. I think I'm the only person in there. There's some long train rides if anybody wants to go in there. Literally ones that take like 15 minutes that I've built.
Good Lord.
Heck of a salesman, Michael. Heck of a salesman.
Hey, come hop in a minecart and just ride for 15 minutes. It's super exciting. But yeah.
Are you playing a creative in there? Or are you actually like grinding all the materials to build those?
Oh, grinding all the materials.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm lining the whole thing with bricks and everything.
Wow.
Every tunnel. Yeah.
Oh
yeah. That's my mindless time. Like if I want to like shut my brain down, that's where I go.
Minecraft is always zen. I garden in Minecraft.
It's like
my zen experience. I'm
so
a farmer.
zen.
For sure.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna grow some wheat. There we go. That's it. That's all I'm doing. And it's kind of on the same terms. I wonder how much settlement building there'll be in the next one, because I don't think it'll exactly follow what Fallout's done, but I could see it being somewhat like that. You know what I mean?
I would love it if it was more like that. Like more like I mean, there's two mods that come to mind that have been around for a long time. One's called Guild Starter, and the other one's called Tundra Defense. And that kind of stuff combined with the building that you can do in Fallout 4 would make a huge. I mean, there'd be days worth of playing around in a fantasy universe. I would love that.
And if I could buy my own little area for $2,
no,
no. I mean, you should quest for it. But I'm just teasing. But like why not buy the plot of land, Lakeview Manor, and then you do whatever you want. So it's your own sort of little orb or whatever, right? That
nah, that's where I draw the line on my. I don't want microtransactions in my single player games. I really don't. I'm sorry.
Well, whatever. I just mean to say that like the great knock of Fallout. I mean, like, oh my god, just every second post in the Facebook group for like 6 months was this guy raided my base when I was, Like I would pay you $3 to put me in a bubble so that
Yeah.
didn't happen. I'm happy with that. You know,
I should sort of qualify that a little bit. I don't want to have I like my sandbox. I like my little personal sandbox, and I don't want to have to pay extra to get more things in my own little personal sandbox that's not connected to the internet in any way. So
Yeah, and that's the big difference between a single and a multiplayer.
yeah,
I mean, the issues in Fallout 76 were because it was a multiplayer.
yeah.
So people were destroying camps.
you really don't expect that in ES6? There's got to
I
be a
hope not.
multiplayer option. There's
I
been
hope
so
not.
much talk about it for 5.
I'll tell you what, if there's a battle royale mode in ES6, I will not play the game. Period.
I don't
Oh,
think
but there must be some way for all of us to play together. Like put in some LAN compatibility. Minecraft did this 10 years ago.
We can
Come
play
on.
ES now.
Yes, no.
We can
Don't,
play ES
don't let Juan hear you say that.
Yeah, I think if ESO is still going well, then I don't think you'll see multiplayer.
Yeah, because I really do think Bethesda really does see the value in the big single player sandbox. They that isn't an MMO.
Yeah.
And they know there's a market out there for people like us who really do want to role play, not character play, but role play. And they're again, I said it before, they're the only company that's really producing games like that. So I can't wait to see what they're doing with Starfield.
But I just want that middle ground. I want the ability to like, okay, if I want to play Dungeons and Dragons, I don't go to a giant shopping mall where everyone's playing Dungeons and Dragons or LARPing, pretending to be whatever, and kind of like I'm a victim of all the people going on around me, right? That is an MMO to me. I mean, that's a shitty way to describe it, but basically, like, I want the ability to put together my own table of people, as we do with Dungeons and Dragons, and as you guys are doing with your Skyrim Let's Play, of course, and just have 3 or 4 people just play with the people I know, and we go out and we quest together. You know what I mean? And so I think, like, why can't those two worlds exist? I don't really see how that's a big financial threat, because the people that like MMOs, they're not interested in playing a LAN with 3 of their friends.
That's
whatever.
True. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, they're going to keep giving you that ESO money, I think.
Sure. I think there's compromises you have to make to produce an MMO that kind of and I can't give you any examples off the top of my head, but I think I'm not sure that the two can coexist and have each of them be a fully fledged version. You're gonna make compromises on both sides. I think I'd rather have a fully fledged single player game with no multiplayer components at all, because it's going to be a more robust game. I'm not sure if that's true, but it just seems like if they try to add a multiplayer component into it, you're adding overhead to the game. You're adding, I mean, some of that happened with 76, I think. Although I haven't played enough of it. Ray is obviously the expert here on that, but I tried to play early on. Tried to play 76 as a single player, and it's not a single player game.
Oh no, it should start as a single player game. But I mean, like, what was lost by giving Minecraft players the ability to start their own server, whitelist their friends, and just build together in like a safe space, as opposed to just going on to a public server that hundreds of people could log into? Because both those capacities exist with Minecraft, right? Again, I mean, I'm not trying to pick on you too much or whatever, but we're just
no, not at all. I just think you lose. What you lose is that that completely self-created world, and that's sort of based on they give you a framework, but you create something that's your own out of it. But once you bring other people in there, you have to have something that is common to all of them, and that's where you lose the. I don't know, maybe 2 games, or like you said, maybe a totally separate mode. I don't know if that's possible or not, and maybe that's what Todd Howard's talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. Like with Minecraft, where
about power. He wants this next ES game to be to take advantage of all the possible power that it can, computing power, that is. So maybe that is what he's talking about. Hey, we'll see.
Well, when it comes out and I am buying server time off of Google, you don't get to play in my ES6 adventuring party.
Fine.
Unless we need a curmudgeonly old wizard who knows all.
I want to be able to jump off a dragon into the battle royale. Yeah, that's
Jump off a dragon.
No, I'm with you. I don't want to play ES6 with 1,000 people either.
Yeah, no,
I just think there's a few cool people in the Facebook group. It'd be nice to do like a local game with. That's all.
And they won't do that.
Well, if I ask them nicely, they might play with me.
No. I mean, Bethesda won't.
I know, but
I'm going to forgo asking about nuclear winter because I think that's going to be discussed later tonight on Fallout Feed.
Yes, it will.
Yeah. So I'll wait to hear all about that. Does anybody did anybody watch any of the other things, Cyberpunk or the new Dying Light that's coming out, stuff like that?
I watched the Cyberpunk one, the 77. Is that what it was called? Something,
2077.
2077. That's it.
Yeah, and Google's new Steam.
Yeah, that's. I'm not sure where to sort of slot that one in.
Well, everybody's doing it now, so.
Right, Microsoft's talking about it. Yeah, of course. I mean, Google's not the first, So Sony tried it, didn't work out as well as they'd hoped. But they weren't really streaming. Well, yeah, they were, weren't they? They were. What was it called? PlayStation Now or something?
Oh yeah, it was something like that. Yeah.
But.
Well, and I guess there was also that Bethesda announcement about what they were building. What was it that they were calling? Was it Orion or something like that?
The new engine.
Yeah. Where it was going to. It looks like it's more focused for streaming games.
Yep.
Oh, really? Okay.
Where it will make that much easier, even when you have lower bandwidth or lower internet speeds as well.
So I'm totally missed. So but that's not the engine they're building ES6 on, right?
No. This is strictly a streaming enhancement.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
It runs alongside the regular game engine to help stream the data through the internet.
Okay, so that sounds exactly like what Stephen was just talking about, right?
Well, so the Google Stadia is a little bit different because it's a full game distribution system too.
Right. Yeah. For any game, right? So that's sort of publisher agnostic. In other words, wasn't their first demo Assassin's Creed Odyssey or something like that? That was a couple of months ago for Stadia.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
I think it was. Yeah. Anyway, that was an early demo of the power of their. Well, hey, I won't subscribe to it, but
you don't have a choice. If you want to keep your internet, which is all run through your Gmail account, you're going to get yourself a free Stadia account before you know it, bud.
Yeah,
and then eventually, like Ubisoft tried to do, every effing game will require you to have a Uplay account. There will be no single player offline games ever. I hate them so much.
Well, and Epic has done the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So I think they're getting some serious pushback on that. I haven't bought a single game off the Epic store, not for any nerdy reason, just because they don't have anything I really want. But
that's my whole problem with EA now. I own all the Dragon Age games because I previously owned 2 of them and I wanted to buy the 3rd one. And I really like SimCity because that's one of my other little Zen games, right? Mm-hmm. But like, come on, I paid you $60 for this game. Why do I have to log in to play it? Like, what are you afraid that I'm going to do with this thing, or whatever? Right? Like,
that's
so I don't like the it must be an online platform gatekeeping, right? Because what if my internet's down? And what if another 1 million things? You know what I mean? I don't like it because it prevents my ability to choose. That's what it really is.
Mhm.
And
And
I got a bit of a libertarian streak to me. So yeah, I
no,
just don't,
not
I
at
don't
all.
like that.
That's totally that's paramount. I agree with you. That's a very important thing, and Steam allows you to play offline. Um, you know,
Right.
so well, I don't know.
Anyways, maybe it'll be awesome, but I have my doubts.
Yeah.
Well, and now Bethesda will have something to point at and say, see, at least it's not as bad as this. The new Sega, what is it, Shenmue or something like that, 3,
Yeah.
is being released 18 years after the Shenmue 2.
Yeah. Yeah. And it looks the same. It looks 18 years old. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now it's retro, right?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
the classic,
Yeah.
style. Yeah, blah blah blah. Yeah.
There's a new Oddworld coming out too. There's some really strange things just popping up. But
Well, see, because you've got 2 generations, right? You've got the young kids coming up with the free game microtransaction model, and then you've got everybody who's now retired and has more time to game and wants games that look like they were playing 25 years ago.
Oh, you got
or whatever.
There's the kids. There's people that more like your age, Steve, and there's people like Ray and me. I mean, it's there's totally 3 big generations of gamers out there now, active, and it's people in their 30s and 40s that are driving this insanely great, not a renaissance. It's like the golden age of games.
Yeah,
They're people who grew up with games. And they're the ones who are now the art directors and creative directors and so on and so forth. That's why we have such amazing games right now.
And it's generational, right? Like I was talking, like one of the reasons I fell behind with the roundtable was because I bought Slime Rancher for my daughter on a Humble Bundle for like $3, and oh my god, she got it too. It was funny, like it made her into a better Skyrim player because it's first person as well, but so she really got to like master the whole mouse and keyboard concept, which was really good. So she's actually it's much easier to watch her play Skyrim now, to be honest. But like the thing is we could sit down and here is something that for the cartoony, silly, cute reasons that a 6-year-old would like it, she enjoyed the game. Yeah. And then it had more than enough game for like the adult that bought her for it or bought it for her, pardon me, So I think that's neat that it's becoming like a shareable experience you can pass down in the generations. Like you didn't go play poker with your dad and his buddies on Friday nights, right?
You didn't?
Well, not when I was 5 anyways.
Yeah, well, okay. Yeah, no.
You ran for drinks? Is that the deal? The game was at your house and you ran for beers?
Yeah. I was the dealer. No, you're right. It's very cool.
That is a good point, though.
Shared experience.
There's been no other point in video gaming history where basically all the generations have grown up with it. Yeah. All the purchasing generations have grown up with gaming in one form or another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this
like
is
my dad liked duck hunt because he's a small arms instructor in the military, so he liked the idea of being able to shoot a pistol at ducks, right? But that was it. He probably did it for 12 minutes, and he's like, "All right, enjoy your Nintendo."
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna go build something in the backyard.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're talking Pong was mid-70s at this point, and arcades, started popping late 70s. So really, I mean, the generational span now is like never before. That when whatever PlayStation 1 or 2 was coming out, you didn't have that.
And to be fair to my old man, like when you and I were pretending to like attack 8-bit tanks with other 8-bit tanks, he was in Germany commanding a tank squadron, saving the world from the Russians. Right? Like, he was doing this shit for real, like you're pretending to be a ranger. He's like, I got a rifle and a backpack and I got to march 40 miles. I'm doing this for real, son. So I mean, he had like, why would I want to sit down and play a game?
Yeah.
I'm living it. So there you go.
Yeah, and it gives, I think it gives so much more variety to the games now too, with all the different people that play, and just it gives you a lot of options.
But I'm really enjoying the nuance. Like I mentioned, sort of Slime Rancher, not necessarily the best example, but like you've seen this come up in kids' movies more, where like they're starting to realize like I liked Incredibles 2. I took my daughter to see it, but don't think I didn't want to see it because there was more than enough there for me as an adult. but it was packaged in a way that was suitable for my kid. And I think you're seeing more and more of that in games as well, right? Where like the age span can be like, 6 to 60, right? And you can all get something out of it. So I think that's the impact of what Victor's talking about. Like people have grown up and they're now the art directors and they're the game designers and they're the coders, but they also got babies, and so on and so forth, right? So yeah, I mean, Renaissance or whatever you want to call it is quite right. I think we're in a sweet spot.
Yeah, there's lots of amazing stuff. Did anybody watch the stuff for Dying Light 2? But Dying Light was like, was it 2016? I think came out. That was like one of my top games of that year. It's an awesome game. Has anybody watched any
that?
of
I didn't see.
shows?
No.
Yeah, yeah, it looks really good. It's a wonderful first-person parkour. It's zombies. Yeah, okay, fine. Zombies. Everybody's tired of zombies, but the first-person parkour in that game is insane. Probably the most vertigo I've ever felt in a game, and that's not VR. Was jumping off a bridge in that game. The top of the tower and one of the bridges in there. It's like a very vertigo-inducing moment.
Would you play a game like that in VR?
I'm not a big fan of VR. I've tried some of the, at various demo stations and things. I've tried the Oculus. Sean had an Oculus for a while, and meh. It's just not my thing. I don't really feel comfortable wearing it for long periods of time. Plus, with being somebody who wears glasses and you got to adjust for all that shit and everything. It's just no.
It's like going to a 3D movie with your glasses on. It's not the same. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to stand in the room and jump around. No, I have my gaming. I like to sit at my gaming. So yeah, I'm kind of an old curmudgeon on that level. But I think VR is cool. People who love it. Yeah.
I'll wait it out. Like 10 years from now, I'll buy a VR system when they're ubiquitous, right? And
I think AR is more the real sort of wave of the future. The augmented reality, as opposed to completely closed in and experience that you get in VR. If you can wear a pair of glasses that don't weigh a lot, that are maybe tethered to a small battery back here somewhere. And wirelessly tethered to a computer, then you can build things wherever you go. You can walk outside and play.
If I wanted to go outside and play, I wouldn't be playing video games, Victor.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Talking about over here.
Draw the curtains. Yeah. Doritos, Mountain Dew. Yeah.
That's right.
Sorry.
Hot Pockets.
But yeah, so for my money, I think AR is the true wave of the future. VR will come and probably slowly die.
Yeah, it feels like it's already kind of fading again.
I think so. There's some cool stuff out there, but it's just not. It's still kind of niche-y. I
think it's too cumbersome to be massively appealing.
Yeah. And it's fighting against pop culture, right? Like you want it to be the holodeck.
Yeah.
And it just can't be, right? But all of us that grew up and like VR would be awesome. Like we want the holodeck, we want the Matrix, right? We want that fully immersed experience. And like a giant 7-pound pair of goggles that gives you motion sickness isn't really
it doesn't
the holodeck, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't do it. Yeah, for sure.
I'll take the chair in Ready Player One. That's cool,
Yeah,
the one that gives you massages and everything.
Well, yeah,
keeps your muscles toned while you're in the virtual world for days at a time. Yeah, that might be cool.
I'd probably come out looking better after that, go down a pant size and all this kind of good stuff,
That game,
now it's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like VR has definitely slid to the wayside a bit from where it was a couple of years ago when everything was being pushed in VR for some reason.
Yeah.
VR is like the holographic technology in the original Star Wars, you know what I mean? Like it's just the little blue holograms that are kind of glitchy. And you get the point, but like really.
Help me, Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are they like? I've only watched little snippets of. So what is everybody excited? That's not a Bethesda game. What's the stuff that's really looking good to people?
There was a couple things on Switch I liked, just for easy Switch games. So one was the Mario Sonic Olympics, because I always loved those Olympic games growing up, or track and field and all that kind of stuff. So
Excite Bike.
yeah, I always loved that style game, and I think that's like perfect for the Switch. So I'm kind of up for that completely.
That sounds cool. What about Outer Worlds?
I don't think I saw that.
That's Obsidian's new game.
Oh,
It's
is
like
it?
New Vegas in space.
Ah.
I don't think that's fair to it, but yeah, that's the.
I don't know. That got me to perk up. I mean, I didn't see anything about New Vegas in space. I'm like, hold on, what are we talking about over here?
Well, technically, didn't New Vegas go to space?
Well, some of the characters did.
Yeah.
You couldn't join them though.
Yeah.
Wait, what was the one? Wait, didn't you go on? Wasn't there a DLC where you could go on a spaceship?
Yeah, but again, you didn't leave the Earth.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Why did I think you? Oh, yeah, you're right.
You were still at the movie theater.
Technically,
Right.
you were still. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's right. Been a while since I played it. I totally forgot that. Yeah. All right, so you didn't go to space.
I think that's coming out next year sometime. I think they have a release date now. So
Yeah, I haven't seen any footage from it, but I did see. So Shalene is at E3,
Yeah.
and she thought it looked pretty good.
yeah, there's a fair amount of footage out there if you want to find the some of the trailers, and it does look good, and it does look like a real a real RPG, so that has definite possibilities. What else did I just saw little snippets on YouTube today? I was looking before there's Satisfactory. If anybody's played Factorio, I think Satisfactory looks like it's kind of a first person Factorio, which might be fun. Have you played Factorio, Steve?
Yes, well, the demo. I played the pants off of the demo or whatever. I really liked it, but I think I squeezed all the fun I was going to get out of it, and it started to feel repetitive. And like I play a game a big bunch, and then I just put it down. And
that was a game that was really well supported by the developers, with like one or two man team or something like that. And it's evolved quite a bit over the last 3 or 4 years. It's a good game, but it's a real time sink, and it's a game that I can get to a certain point, and then I reach my Peter principle in that game. I cannot get past it. It gets too complex when those factories just get insane. So I don't know what Satisfactory is going to be like, but it looked quite fun. What else did I see? Outer Wilds. That's another one. Not Outer Worlds. Outer Wilds.
Outer Wilds. The new Zelda stuff, which we talked about before the show.
Oh, yeah. Is that Steve? Are you into that?
I didn't see anything from E3. I probably played, Adventure of Link at some point. I think my JRPG experience was really the Final Fantasy and the Dragon Warrior type franchise, right? Like,
are you looking forward to the remake of 7?
Oh, I don't know anything about it. I'm sorry.
March of 2020.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like if it would just be a nostalgia trip for me. You know what I mean? Like, because we got past a certain point with what was it like? Is it Final Fantasy 12? Maybe was the one where they had like a gambit system, so you sort of had the ability to control your party's AI a little bit. It was the one with the airships and Balthazar, something like that. I cosplayed as him one Christmas, but I think it was 12 anyways. I did like that, but from sort of the original like 90s type, 8-bit and 16-bit walk around with 4 party members, turn-based fighting, to 12, there was a bunch of stuff in between that I didn't play, and sort of when I did, I didn't enjoy. So 12 was kind of when I came back into the franchise. So I quite enjoyed that. I mean, I logged a lot of time on that, and I guess there was Rogue Galaxy, which was sort of a clone of that sort of stand up, more real time. Like, you never cut to another screen, right? Like, you just walk along, you start having people fight you and stuff. I quite like that. That was a really good game. And then I fell off of Final Fantasy again, so I know very little about what's happening.
I think 7. I don't know, Ray. It's not just it's a complete remake. It's totally modern graphics and new gameplay, or is it the same game with modern graphics?
I think it's the same game with modern graphics.
Okay, all right.
Or at least the same story.
Same story. Okay.
Yeah. They're all the same story.
Ooh. Hate mail to Steve at a Skyrim Addict podcast.
I'm getting it from Mattel and Square Enix. Stop the presses. Jesus, Murphy, what are we gonna do? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Bethesda did have a couple of interesting new games. It'll remain to be seen how they play, but the Ghostwire Tokyo, where people just start disappearing. It looks like it could be pretty interesting. And you have to, fight between the real and the unreal enemies coming from each direction. And there was also one that Deathloop, where you have two characters and they continually go through the same day over and over and over again, trying different things to one wants to bring the end of the world, one wants to save the world, and it's just a constant loop. And so you got
Groundhog Day, only the video game.
Yeah, you just have to find. You're constantly having to tweak, to try to find the way to get it to end instead of starting it again.
That's kind of old school, right? That's like a memory type game. I mean, like a lot of we were talking about old consoles. A lot of the games are like that. You have to remember where the things on the various levels were to achieve them. So that's interesting. That's an interesting concept.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays.
Yeah. Cool. Well, lots of good stuff. Just nothing much from Bethesda. Oh well.
Yeah, Commander Keen was the name of that little mobile game.
Commander Keen, that was it. I guess that was an old game or something.
I don't know. They talked about it looking like a Saturday morning cartoon.
Huh. Yeah, that rings a bell. That rings a bell for some reason.
It was something I didn't recognize.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, what's this? And I was like, because when I hopped on, I was like, all right, maybe we'll get a little teaser here at the end or something. But no, it's nothing.
Another 7-second trailer that we could speculate about.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. I just wanted something, I guess. I don't know. Just
show me a character model, or show off some of what Shirley's been doing, right? You got footage of her now.
Just something.
Give me 20 seconds of her voiceover,
Give me 2 still screenshots, like something.
Just some guy in a dark basement, and we'll look over his shoulder, his computer screen, and see what he's building or whatever.
I really do hope Starfield is next year, though.
I think it will be. I do. I really do.
Yeah. Well, it'll at least have to be the main topic of Bethesda E3.
I would hope so. Yeah.
Since they teased it last year.
Yeah.
And then just, casually mentioned that they're still working on it.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah, we're still working on that thing we talked about last year.
I think Todd Howard really, really hates doing that. And I in a couple of interviews I've heard with him, he's admitted that they only did that because they felt incredible pressure.
Yeah.
And I think they really do like that model of, E3, they announced the game and it's going to be out in, 4 months.
Yeah, and I agree. I like that, but I just don't think it's reality in the world we live in, unfortunately. The landscape.
Yeah.
I think you need to give people something just because it's just the nature of the cycle at this point.
Well,
and not a lot. I mean, I think even mentioning it the 2 things last year was, I mean, one picture held people over for a year.
Oh yeah. There was at least 3 or 4 months worth of analysis.
Yeah. So I mean, you don't have to give them a lot.
Yeah.
You just have to give them some. And if you're going to have events like this, you have to give them. Nobody's telling them they have to do a massive E3 panel each or whatever pre E3 event each year. I mean, that's their own doing. So
Well,
Yeah.
six will be out November 2021. That's 10-year anniversary.
it feels like that's the time frame we're looking at right now. Yeah. Fingers crossed.
And there was one Skyrim-y thing in the Fallout 76 video. There was, a pan shot, and somebody was holding a bow,
Oh,
a regular. There's crossbows in there, but this was a regular curved bow.
oh, cool.
Neat.
So we'll have sneaky archers in Fallout 76.
Finally, you'll be able to
Everybody
play the game.
come and play.
You'll be able to play the right way finally. Although I
All
was
the
always
better
a
to loot your
sniper.
base with. Right?
Yeah. I was always a sniper in Fallout, so
Yeah.
similar thing, I guess.
In Skyrim and Fallout, I'm sneak with daggers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sneak and double daggers is so good.
Yep.
God, that was a lot of my early play for sure. I was big on that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, speaking of play, Steve, do you want to update your Hearthfire guy?
All right. So I'm still on round 2.
Cool.
Like episode 2 or whatever. So, all right. So we're gonna go off on a bit of a rant here for a minute. No, okay. So the way I like to do this is I take a look at the quests and I sort of play them through from like lowest suggested level to like highest suggested level, right? As it happens, my character's already high enough that I'm sort of at level for the highest level one of this block. But anyways, so for that reason, plus for sort of a story reason, I start with Treva's Watch. Because when you talk to Stalio, he says that he's got a notice up. He's been, looking for mercenaries or whatever. So since she's a companion, it seems reasonable to me that like that's why she just shows up in the rift for no reason, right?
Makes sense.
Also worth noting that not too far from Treva's Watch is my favorite place in Skyrim to build a Hearthcraft home. There's on top of the mountain near the Redwater Skooma Shack. There's this beautiful flat spot that I just think the rift is fantastic. I mean, like, I would live there. It's like November and deer hunting forever. I just think it's fantastic. So anyway, so I started Treva's Watch, for that sort of story reason, plus just the mechanical level based reason. And I had a really, really rough first run. Like I've run that place a bunch of times, you know what I mean? But I just got my ass handed to me. Like it got really sweary and like M for mature. And so I stopped recording and I had to do it. I had to do a do-over to get through it. And really what it came down to is just Clay is an interesting character, but I just do not have an answer to magic with her. Right? Like she just, so I'm in there and like I'm wiping out the entry level bandits. So I'm doing okay. I got Rhea along for the ride, so we're doing okay. But you get to sort of like the boss level people, and you've got this huge guy in like chitin armor or whatever at the level that I'm playing, and I have these mages that are throwing this combination of like ice spikes at me, which slows me down. It slows down my melee, and then it's like lightning bolts coming down. I'm like 2 shots and I'm dead. So I grind through that a little bit, and then when I finally stopped shouting at my computer, I'm kidding, but like when I finally stopped being angry, I realized that I had been test driving a character on master level, a top end character. So I lowered my difficulty a little bit as well, like back to sort of normal or whatever, and took another shot at that. But then I went slower. I played a bit smarter. I started using my Atronach a lot more. I don't really see her as a conjuration character. She's supposed to be illusion for her magic, but I also remembered, hey, you can buff people before combat, and some of these people where I was able to calm down. So played a bit more of the spell sword instead of just the sword part, and then just play a little smart, lean on my companions a little bit more, and got through that, which was interesting. But I'm really gonna have to. That really opened my eyes a little bit. I'm gonna have to start thinking of how to solve that problem. because Repentance, the one where you go through the tower and you fight all the hags and stuff, basically the same idea, right? Like I'm facing magic and I don't really have an answer with my character. Like I learned from Treva's Watch, so I'm gonna need to put together like some anti-magic kit, basically. Like I've got an anti-frost amulet that I found somewhere now, but of course hags throw fire, so that wasn't so helpful doing Repentance. And I'm gonna have to just like either invest money or a bit of time into alchemy.
Yeah, alchemy is
start having
recommended for
potions.
that for sure.
Yeah, but again, like I mean, I'm trying to sort of stick with what I was given randomly, right? Like her focus. I don't really have a crafting skill. That is that missing from the random generator for a quick tangent? Like no, because I guess it would just come up as your thief skill, or it would come up as your whatever skill. Yeah, I wouldn't mind boxing that out actually if we could let that generate 3 sort of class-based skills and then a crafting skill. Even if it didn't quite jive, that might be interesting as well. But so anyways, yeah, so we run through Treva's Watch, it's lots of fun. We get that done. That's fine. I didn't do it in this order, but Repentance ends up again being a similar situation, just tight spaces, mages, sort of I'm walking through with, 2 melee-based characters, because Rhea is a tank, just like Clea is, really trying to do my best. And I played a little bit smarter in that one. And it was fun. And then you've got Ilya, plus I'm summoning my Atronach again. So it gets a little crowded on the stairways, but otherwise that's fun, So that was a good little quest. And I'd never done Repentance before. So that was fun to do. Right. Now Riften is sort of a big deal in this cycle. I mean, there's 3 quests that come out of it, but it's also a big deal for Clea because her spouse and her child are there. So I've been given Iona and Hrorar, I guess, or however you pronounce his name. So there's a bunch of reasons for her to go there. There's also a technical reason why Riften's interesting for me right now. I think my mod build's becoming a little unstable. Like I started Clea before I was really delving into what you can do with profiles with mod organizers. So I've been able to sort of segregate what I'm doing, but I had sort of added and subtracted mods based on other character builds I wanted to do alongside sort of playing with Clea. And I don't know, I mean, I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole, but I've done something it's getting a little bit twitchy. And the point is my Hearthcraft doesn't work anymore. My Hearthcraft orc longhouse that I built in that video has no door. It's just a black hole that you can't go into, which means that, what is it, Girder? What's the guy's name that you take through the tomb and you find his dead aunt? What's his name?
Oh,
Goldir.
Goldir. So
Yeah.
Goldir is eternally trapped inside my house baking at this point. I can't get to any of the armor sets that I've collected and stored or any of the like sort of trophy loot that I have. All of my crafting stuff, which I build again through Hearthfire, except for my tanning rack, which came from Hunterborn, it's all gone. So I don't have a functioning house, right? But I'm not going to be angry about that. I'm going to turn that into a story point, right? So we add this to Riften. So you have this idea that, that I as a player, but then also through Clea, have kind of a slightly tortured relationship with the companions right now. Being a mercenary is very natural. It's a suitable place. It gives her sort of protection in a world where she might be wanted by the law and that sort of thing. But being sort of ambushed by being turned into a werewolf didn't sit well with me. And I'm going to play that it didn't sit well with her, right? So put all these things together, and now you have this sort of reason for her to want to establish maybe a home base a little bit farther away from the oversight of the companions in what's kind of like a Las Vegas town where, like, I'm sure they're respected, but like it's the Thieves Guild runs that town, right? Like the companions don't run that town. Now, if they want to come down to Lakeview Manor and give me the business, the companions can get away with that. But maybe they'd have a little more trouble in Riften. So because I have to become Thane of the Rift to unlock Iona as my wife, I'll do that maybe as an interlude or something a bit later because I'm just playing through the quest right now. But it's sort of like I see her trying to like build goodwill with other Jarls, have a second safe place, right? She's going to buy Honeyside as a result, adopt her kid, marry her wife, and sort of base her family there just in case things kind of go sideways with the companions. So that's how I've sort of wrapped a bit of a story around why she's come to the Rift. Of course, so in there you got 3 that you start. Book of Love. I mean, that's all right, I guess. But I mean, like, it's really just sort of fetch and carry, right? Like
That's
I put on
it,
my
yeah.
Amulet of Dibella. I went around, I talked to everybody. I played matchmaker. The one interesting thing was I've never worked Calcelmo's romance before, but my wife read the letters that like his love interest writes back to him on the podcast. So it was nice to actually sort of see those for real. So that was fun. And now I've got Iverstead unlocked if I ever decide I want to be a Dragonborn, so I can just fast travel there now and so on and so
Well,
forth. So,
Book of Love gives you good magic resistance.
Magic resistance.
correct, sir. Correct,
Yeah.
it does. So
So-
that also helps solve the problem a little
Yeah,
bit.
so
An
it's definitely
unintended
worthwhile.
consequence. Yeah, well, just because like she's a red guard, doesn't come with any basic resistance like a Breton would or whatever. And my stone doesn't help me with that. So there we go. We're gonna see if Michael's house stays together. My goodness.
Yikes.
But yeah, so I'll carry that. So you do Book of Love. Now Promises to Keep, that's sort of the second one. Very easy to start. You go into the bar or whatever and you meet Leo Truss. I really like Blackbriar Lodge. I would like to keep that place as a home. Like I've cleared it out once before with a character that was just living in the Rift and exploring, trying to sort of find all the locations and live there and stuff. But I really like Blackbriar Lodge. It was a lot of fun to go through that again. I always go in the back door and kind of work my way down and try to snipe a few people off and be a bit sneaky or whatever. And then you throw an Atronach down into the room and the four guys just go nuts. And, it's fun. I don't have any interest in having a horse, so I didn't sort of finagle or cause any trouble. I just, I quick saved repeatedly so Frost didn't die. I gave it to Leo Trust and just sort of walked away from the quest. Like, wasn't particularly concerned.
I screwed that one up totally, but yeah.
Well, I've spent enough episodes talking with you that I knew Frost was a glass cannon, right, or whatever. So I took that to heart, and as soon as I was on the pony, I'm like, all right, quick save. And we go a little bit of distance. Okay, quick save. Yeah, like anytime someone's coming towards me, quick save. So there's a lot of that, auto saving spam in the upper corner of that video, I guess. And then I guess the last one out of there was Unfathomable Depths. That's going to be a big long dungeon crawl. Well, no, I did Kind Sacred Trials. Did those before with another ranger character that I was live streaming, so that's nice. Always a bit of big game hunting. The saber cat, not too much trouble. The mammoth a little bit, but it's just chopping wood really and just trying to stay out of the way. So that was fun. I always like that. I like, no matter who I'm playing in terms of character, I like to kind of get out in the forest a little bit, get out in nature. So that was a nice one. And it was interesting to do it in a different way because like I have a crossbow with Clea, but I'm really supposed to be playing her differently. Like, I was the sneaky archer with Leaf. That's how I approached all these big game hunts. So it was interesting to try that in a more sort of upfront in your face, physical kind of way. And to see what you could do with your, my illusion magic and whatever. So that was okay. And yeah, that leaves us with Unfathomable Depths. I haven't done it because it's a big long run and I ran on a runway. I've been fighting my computer the last couple of days and it seems to have resolved itself now, but blah, blah life. And that was just, I wanted to be able to get through as much of it as possible. So I had a few stories to tell when we got here, as opposed to dedicating sort of what gaming time I have to, what might be like a multi-session run, or if it goes crappy and I got to reload a save. Cause like, I'm not curating this stuff in a way that like I'm not doing a lot of cuts and do-overs and stuff, whatever. But like with Travis Watch, when it goes sideways and I start to get angry, I mean, that's not fun to watch. Well, maybe it's fun for you, but like it's not, I don't want to, that's not the version of me I want to put on the internet. So, I don't want to get like halfway through like a big long dungeon crawl and just start losing it, like going on tilt, as poker players would say, and whatnot. So I wanted to get through as much content as I could. And yeah, I'll run that one and I'll go through the like my interlude. Like I'm going to do all the quests. I'll finish off with Unfathomable Depths. Then I normally do a companions related interlude between sort of blocks of questing, right? To move that ball. But I think I'll take up that real estate this time around, like between sort of bundle 2 and bundle 3 for Hearthfire, to become a Thane of Riften, buy Honeyside, get married, adopt a kid, and then never play again because I'll be retired. No, I'm kidding. And then I will abandon everyone that I love to run off with my other mercenary friend, also a powerful, strong, attractive woman. So I don't know how Iona and Rhea are going to see each other. They're going to vie for Clea's time. Who knows what that's going to turn into. But yeah, that'll be my plan there. But yeah, for now, so that's it. I got 5 out of 6 quests done on that. I'm really looking forward to Unfathomable Depths. I love a good dungeon crawl. I just want to be able to really dedicate the time to it to enjoy it and play it through properly. So
yeah, you should do that and Lost to the Ages back to back. They're both big Dwemer ruins, and
with ghosts.
With ghosts, yeah.
I suppose that's true. Right? That's on the list. That is on the list. So we would have to play through that. But
that's episode 3, yeah. The Lost to the Ages. Yep.
And then I could, do some smithing or something on the side, bring that skill up and take all those dwarven metal ingots. And well, actually, I have a mod that lets me build a dwarven crossbows loaded. I don't have to do Dawn Guard to be able to unlock it. I just need to get to dwarven crafting. So I might up my game a little bit. Because I'm really trying to stick to like this sort of the spell sword concept, the vaguely controllerish with the illusion magic, and really be in there, right in people's faces and fighting them and stuff. But just you can't take the archer out of you once you get used to it, And crossbows, I mean, like it's just I remember the first time I loaded that mod and crossbows became ubiquitous, and I built one for a piece of firewood and a piece of steel or whatever in Riverwood of all places, like 5 minutes into the game, right? And oh my God, like I felt like a superhero. Like you're going around and you're standing up on these, these high cliffs from God knows where, and you're like in your 2-shotting saber cast. You're like, oh my God, it's like someone had given you a gun and sent you back to, the Stone Age or something, right? It was just fantastic. I was like I was, I thought I was going to jump out of my hands. It was so fantastic, and all the same archer skills stack on it, so it gets pretty interesting. But yeah, so I try to play Clea more the way that she's intended to be. But I mean, just still, if I could pull a guy down a hallway instead of going in there and chasing him, I'm gonna do it, right? But I have so many other physical companions that, like, really once melee's joined, that's not an option anymore. Because I've got Rhea, I've usually got an Atronach up. I can't see. I got to get in there, and I usually just flank,
Yep.
Juice up my people, and then just let them take the heat, and I just get around behind them and whatever. So, but I figure I do have to use muffle, so why not be a bit of a sneaky archer? That's the way the dice rolled. So, and I guess that's about it. That's really it. I mean, like I'll start rolling out the videos as I think I did last time, where like we talked about it on the show, and then I kind of put them out afterwards. So you'll start seeing those come out every couple of days. Like I'll edit them and drop one every 2-3 days or something like that.
Cool. And
by the time we play again next, I should be the same one episode behind. It'll be fantastic.
Well, I have to kind of wrap this up quickly.
Yeah, sounds like you got some weather coming.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be okay here, but we have a tornado warning. So just in case I lose any power or anything. Steve, where can we find you?
Well, youtube.com/skyrimbookclub. I'm happy to report that I came through yet another fire with my podcast. So it's out there, iTunes or Apple Podcasts now, and Google Play and whatever your aggregators are. So that's about 350 episodes. I think my time rolls over in the next few days, and then I'll probably just shove the rest of the existing archive up and hope to start seeing new episodes not too much longer after that. I still haven't spent the time porting over my actual skyrimbookclub.ca name onto a website. I got to be honest, that's low down the list. I want people to be able to hear it. I'm trying to keep up with the roundtable and, work my jobs and be that,
have a real life. Yeah.
So yeah, but you will see some new Skyrim content coming out on the YouTube channel. As I was saying before you came back, as I did last time, I basically recorded a bunch of videos, talk about them here, and then I'll start dropping them every few days as I edit them. So that'll be some stuff. And yeah, go look for the podcast. It's out there. About half the archive is up now, and we will continue to grind that out, get into the Arcanium edition type content, and just go from there. Pick up where we left off, 6 weeks ago or whatever it was.
Awesome. And Victor, the open world on YouTube.
Yep. YouTube/C/the open world.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been I added a lot of videos recently, so there's a lot of content up there, and there's something very different and new coming. So
there you go.
Yep.
And Ray, we know time has no meaning to you, but we're totally fine. Are you gonna be
we've
on
got
Fallout?
a good Fallout feed tonight. We have Laura from Westfall Radio,
Oh, that's
Nice.
awesome.
so she's going to come on, and so should be an interesting show. We'll have a lot of conversation about Battle Royale, no doubt.
Yep. Cool.
And quick shout out to a new show. The UESP actually has a podcast now.
They do?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Actually, I guess it's been going on a little while, but I just started listening to it recently because I actually just found it. So
Yeah, they're doing lore and stuff, right? They're looking to
I
the
think
lore
they
of different
they do they do a lot of lore. They did some E3 stuff, so definitely worth checking out. Just search UESP on iTunes or
Subscribe.
whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
They have a
So
mobile app now too, by the way.
They've been
that's right.
tweeting a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
I've seen a lot of things.
they updated their map system because I guess Google Maps was charging them or something. So whatever, but go check out the USP and check out their podcast and all that, and make sure you give Skyrim Book Club some ratings on iTunes. Give this show some ratings on iTunes. The Fallout feed, just go do it, please.
Yeah, we got to catch up from where we were before.
Yeah,
with SBC.
We're
Although
dead.
the downloads are nice, the downloads are about where they were. So
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I wasn't gone long enough to lose too many people, but yeah, if we could get,
It bumps it up.
a little bit just to help other
mysterious
people find it. Or...
The mysterious algorithm of YouTube of iTunes.
Yeah.
Whatever.
All
I
right.
thought 7 people had listened to it my whole life, so everything's a bonus, right?
That's it. All right. Well, hopefully I'll be back someday and not blown away to Kansas or Oz or wherever you go when you get in a tornado.
Well, fill the tub with water, run out, get some bread and milk, and
Yeah.
everything will be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll run to the store right now.
Yeah.
All right.
All
Take
right,
care,
well,
everybody.
Have a great
Take
evening.
care.
Thank you.
Good night, all.